Alright, I know y'all like crying, y'all like skimming through the video so y'all can get y'all answers and whatnot. That's just how y'all is. Ungreets, that's basically what it is. Make sure I get at me, leekautorepair@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram at leekautorepair@gmail. Any other questions and stuff outside of business, so you make sure you leave it in the comment section so that way the community can communicate. So it's going to begin getting some gloves on and going to be working from the top. So I don't want to be seeing you taking the wheel off or hearing about you took the wheel off or any other additional things that I did not state in this video. Please pay attention. And like I said before, make sure you subscribe. So we're going to take off this air duct, I believe, or at least plastic, I call them like air silencers basically, because they silence the air. When you start removing them, you ever notice you remove them, put an intake on, it sounds different? Yeah, because they didn't want the engine to sound like that in the first place, so they put stuff to like silence it basically. Disconnect the negative cable on the battery, and next this like a hose that runs through a breather hose that runs to the valve body. So it's a quick connection. Squeeze with your thumb, press in the like the gray part of it, and it's like spring action. You'll feel it go down and slide it, wiggle it back, and it'll come loose. We got two 10 millimeter bolts that keeping the engine cover on, and then in the back there's two grommets, so you're gonna have to lift up on it. Be careful how you lift up on it because you could crack your engine cover. Seen that happen. Definitely be careful. It's 2 hour grommets, it might fall, whatever. What I just tapped at was a 10 millimeter bolt. Make sure, well, I'm not going to tell you to make sure or whatever. Put your bolts and stuff in order. That's on you. But once you get that out, and I believe I'm talking, but like I said, I muted the video out. There is no like a band clamp or on a spiral clamp, band clamp we call it, for basically, or adjustable clamp for the boot itself that goes onto the throttle body. That's what I'm saying. So once you take the adjustable one off the boot itself, you got in that bolt is two grommets in the back that you need to like lift up on, right? And once you get that, you'll be able to maneuver that part of the air box out. Someone's riding a motorcycle past, kind of like loud a little bit. There's another 10 millimeter bolt that's keeping the box in, so I'll show you that in a second once I get it out. But it's very accessible, so you don't need like any extensions or nothing like crazy. Once you get that out, then you should be able to finesse the air box out without a problem. Next, I believe, well, I guess what I'm going to be working on or whatever. I'm trying to get my thoughts together. Don't mind me for a second. We got room to get to the mount, and I don't have no specific order how I'm doing things, but I know I'll just jump straight into it and just start basically backing off unscrewing the bolts for just two bolts on the frame, and then you got 3 triangular bolts. That's what you're looking at right now. So don't matter which order, the same bolt size, whatever, just take them the hell out. That's simple. And there's going to be another bolt or 2 other, a nut and then a bolt, and I'll tell you about those when I get there. I'm trying to get, there's a snap-on light. I bought that in the trio pack. It seemed like I spent a lot of money on that. I spent $400 and something. I'm missing one light, which I need to get another one. I got 2 left, and usually those magnets are like shitty. Probably need to clean it off or whatever. I'm working off a 13 millimeter nut, the one I was telling you about, and that one is a stud that runs through like the battery tray itself. Actually, I lied. I was taking off the other 18 millimeter bolt, so I'm moving too quick. The triangular pattern bolts that we're looking at right now, you'll notice when you get to one of them, the engine starts dipping down, or the transmission. So you need to get a jack underneath the engine just to keep pressure on it and keep the powertrain level, because it's going to be hard for you to get these mounts, like get it in and like to get it out, and you get it back in without using something to adjust the engine up and down. So use the jack. Now I got room because I bought pressure lifted up on the engine. I can get the triangular bolts out, or I'm just saying they're not triangular bolts, it's a triangular pattern. I just want you to know which ones we're talking about. So I'll put them in the same group. And I still got the other 2 that's still in there. It's a little pain in the ass to get, so we'll worry about it in a second. Not a pain in the ass, I just don't feel like wasting time getting it out. There's a 10 millimeter bolt. There's like a small black bracket, like a stay bracket or something. I guess that just helps keep things in place. Make sure you take that out. It doesn't matter specific order. You want to take it out before you do the job. You can take it out during or whatever. That's simple to get in, so don't waste your time. Well, I just backed off with a 13 millimeter nut, and there's a stud that runs through the battery tray. Unless you want to take the whole entire battery tray out, be my guest. That's totally up to you. Or unless you want to be the guy like me and then take the screw out. So you can get a 5.5 millimeter quarter-inch drive socket on there, and you should be able to back that stud out. The stud itself is not tight, so don't think it's something that's going to be a pain in the ass to come out. Probably can lightly grab it with vice grips, but then you'll risk damaging the threads. So that's totally up to you. You got a decision to make. Or you can just go in your box and get a 5.5 millimeter socket. Hold on, excuse me. I got like something. Whew, that was bad in my nose. I'm sorry about that. What we looking at? So next, I got room to move the mount, and you should be able to wiggle. If you can't wiggle, it's probably because you forgot the 10 millimeter bolt, or to get the 13 millimeter nut out. I guess I removed another bolt that was stuck. I left those two in there on the side, the ones I was talking about, and I grouped them together so we know what go where. One of the issues I'm going to be having, and you probably will have it since you took that stud out of the battery tray that screwed into the mount, because they kind of lined up together. You got to finesse the mount, like maneuver it over to the side, like cock it over to the side, pause, and then you'll be able to like lift up on it. So pay attention how I'm maneuvering out, because this is how you're going to get the mount out. You may be frustrated to be like, dang, I went all of this way and I can't get the mount on. It look like I can get out. You can. You just got to like finesse it out. And that probably be the hardest part of the job realistically, is trying to like finesse that out. So looking at the mount, we can see the polyurethane is like split in half, and it's like starting to like leak at the bottom, and you can see the split like right there. That's bad. So no need to like spend time thinking about it. Just put it on the ground. Done. Next is I got, what are we doing? This side engine mount. Oh, okay. I thought I was working on the other side. I'm tripping. Don't worry about me, because I'm in the computer looking at other stuff, doing other stuff. Don't mind me right now. I'm taking the stud off of the new mount. Why? Because I have to install it. I can't install it with that stud on. That's how I was able to get it out in the first place. That was the whole purpose of taking the stud out, so that way I can get the mount out. Take the stud. That was the sensor for the intake air temp sensor. So just put that off to the side. And I'm going to finesse that in there like I did before. And the same way you took it out, same way you put it back in. So if you got problems, you might just got to like resort back to the video and like redo your steps again and see where you went wrong at, and always be going in reverse, because that's how the order works when you're installing something you take out. Your order of operations is to work in reverse from the, like, it's your installation steps is the removal process, but backwards. So now we're getting things lined up. I'm going to start the 18 millimeter bolts. You got the ones in a triangular pattern, those guys, and then you got the two pair. There's like a pair, two for the sides. And once we get those screwed in, pretty much going to make sure I got all of my bolts still in a place. The stay bolt, probably could put that in last, because that's going to automatically like line up anyway. And you got the stud. What I had lined up, or before I tightened up everything, was I had got the stud in there. But you need the mount to be able to like move around or whatever. So sometimes it might be easier in there. Once you get it in there, kind of like on the threads to touch, grab the socket or the extension with the socket on it, and then you might need to, or get a screwdriver just to force that hole to like line up or something. But it needs to drive in straight. Do not drive it in crooked. So you might need to put it on the extension. Put the socket on the extension and then get the gun, but then line it up before you drive in, and it'll catch, and you're Gucci. Don't spend too much time on this. If you, I mean, you needed to go back in, yeah, but I don't want you to be effing shit up. You get what I'm saying? And that we're not doing over here. None of that. So let's figure out what I'm doing next. I'm putting a nut on now, and probably not going to tighten that down. Am I going to tighten it down now? Probably. I don't know. Let's tighten it down. Done deal. Solid. Now, could have did that last, but I got that out the way. I'm not sure if I already tightened the rest of my bolts. I probably did. Oh, now I'm tightening them. So make sure you get them tightened down. I shouldn't have to tell you how tight something is and how loose something is. That's one of those things as a mechanic and as a do-it-yourselfer, because you decided to do this job and take the responsibility. That is your job, to figure out what's tight, how tight it is, what it feels like when you're about to break something, or what it feels like when something is loose and you're not sure how to go about it. That's on you, because you're supposed to do your DD. You wanted to do a job like this, you need to know the details. So working out more than extension. I'm getting that. There's two side bolts that go on the frame. The two 18 millimeters. Once you get that in there, you'll notice the three bolts in the triangular pattern. Once you start like tightening it up, at least like two of them, the engine starts to like, or the transmission starts to like level out. So it's like a good thing. If I got the bolt for the stay, make sure we get that in there. And after I get that situated, we done with that side. We're gonna work on the passenger side. And the passenger side is very similar to doing the driver's side. And the mounts kind of like look similar. A mount is a goddamn mount. I don't know what else you wanted to like look at. It's just designed different so it can like bolt up pretty much. It's gonna three 10 millimeter bolts for the coolant tank, and then you're just gonna like swing that off to the side, and then that's the cover for the ABS module. You got a 10 millimeter bolt for the washer nozzle, or at least the filler neck. I'm sorry, and then one for the cover itself, and yeah, just toss it on the ground like I did this rubber. Now you're gonna be a little tricky here, at least for you, because trying to get this 13 millimeter nut off this bracket of the mount, which you saw that I took the two 10 millimeter bolts out. Leave that on there for a second. Leave the two 10 millimeter bolts on. You're gonna see me screw it back in a second, because I realized what I'm gonna have to do is I need some maneuver room. Why? Because I need the ABS to like lift up, so that way when I get the connector off, I can get to the 13 millimeter bolt. So assuming you already disconnected the battery, best bet is there's two 10. Now my phone just rang. There's two 10 millimeter, like I think it's a nut for the ABS module. Once you get those off, you'll be able to like, you get wiggle room. That's what we want, wiggle room. And then you're gonna work the connector off. It latches, so you might need to get in there with something thin or a pick or a screwdriver and just lightly lift up. Press one of the tabs in just to get the latch over, because it's like a locking one. And then once you start latching it over and wiggling the connector, you'll see as you're latching it up, while you're wiggling, the connector moves out automatically on its own from the latch. That's what it's designed to do. So get that out the way. Next, 13 millimeter 13 millimeter bolt. I'm sorry, I'm like drifting off again. And you'll see me put the two 10 millimeter bolts back in there. Why? Because it just makes sense to take the whole thing out. But you do need to take the 13 millimeter, the bolt that's on the one side. Next, and I'm trying to like keep in there because I got 12 minutes into this video, so I'm not saying I'm getting tired, but I'm going this distance for y'all helping you, so I hope y'all really appreciate that. Make sure you get my Cash App too. Leekautorepair. $, Leekautorepair. I put that in the description. I'm helping y'all out, saving y'all money. I be saying I save money. Y'all, what's up? What I'm doing is my camera angle is kind of like ass a little bit. Need to get better at like looking up, and then pumping the engine up just to like keep it level. Because like I said, doing this side is similar to doing the other side. Except for this side, you got like way more room to maneuver, and you'll be able to like wing through the job a hell of a lot faster. So once we got all of my bolts out, they were like all 18 millimeter bolts, and yeah, I believe they were 18. Yeah, they were all 18, and you got the 3 over there, right? And I think it's 4. Should be 4. Yeah, it's 4. I don't know why they use 4. That's just what they did. It is what it is. I kind of like don't care. And we got the side engine mount, the one on the passenger side, and that one was ripped. And the car got like 200 and something thousand miles on it. So hell yeah, you need some goddamn motor mounts. Getting it in is very similar. Like I said, you always, when you're installing parts, you work backwards. Next, lining them up and trying to decide. Figure out your alignment points and stuff, because you need to figure out which bolt you're going to be driving in first. I'll tell you the order of operations is going to be, what do you want? Just start like bolting stuff up. You'll see where it goes, like putting together a puzzle. So at least I want to start the bolts, but I'm not going to like drive them in and lock them down. Why? Because I want the mount to be like movable, like flexible, so that way I can like maneuver around. Next, I gotta, let's get these 4 bolts in. I shouldn't have to tell you this, right? Why am I telling you this? I'm going through every step covering this. I did the one side. I should be shutting up and let y'all watching the rest of the video, but I'm being nice. Swing the takeover for a second, because you might need to push the engine in over, like you'll be off on the mount a little bit. So depending if you can push the engine back or forward, however you can grab it, and be careful not to grab on nothing plastic. But you need to make sure those mounts line up, because if they're not lining up, then you're probably gonna be like stripping some stuff. So don't do that. Make sure they get threaded before you drive them down. Don't force them thread. Thread them in with your hand, because it's engine mount stuff. Make sure you just do it right. It's just gonna be at the junkyard or trying to get like new parts and whatever. Imagine the new parts for this type of car is expensive. You're probably gonna be hawking the junkyard. Oh, I stripped this, I stripped that. Just be careful and listen to me. Start the bolts by hand before you lock them down with a gun. It's just easier that way. And you notice once you start hitting it with the gun, the engine and at least the engine start leveling out the powertrain, because it was dipped down just a hair. But assuming you got the jack on it to keep pressure, so it shouldn't lift up that much. But that's why we got the jack there, to keep things level. And I'm getting at the close to almost the 16 mark of the video, or 16 minutes, and just gonna start closing things out soon. So simple job. I think after this I gotta work on the oil filter housing, which I do got a separate video, so that's gonna be posted. And I don't know why I'm still wasting time tightening it down. Okay, get the jack out of the way. Bam. So pay attention, watch the video, you should be good. And if you get stuck on something, I mean, leave it in the comment section. We'll, get the comments up and stuff to get you guys like all of the help that you need. How long would it take you to complete this job? So if you do this job in your driveway and you ain't got no experience, but you got some type of experience, you could be mechanically inclined, or just to say mechanically confident, should be like another word. You probably could get this job done in less than 2 to 3 hours, probably. I don't know. Could take you longer if you got no experience. If you do got experience, you could breeze through this both mounts less than an hour, because that's what it took me, less than an hour. Just because I cut the video to 17 minutes and a half almost, don't mean that's how long it take, right? Obviously, it took an hour to do both of them, but that's still good. Leekautorepair, make sure you guys subscribe. All of that, questions, get at me. I am a mobile mechanic, so if you're in the state of Pennsylvania, make sure you get at me. We get something scheduled. Read about me in the about section, or you can AI me. They got good stuff to say about me, so I'll holler at you.